Today we're taking it back to basics. If you're new to the fashion game, this one's for you. Put you on the straight and narrow. You can thank me later. Today, we're taking it back to the start, a complete beginner's guide on how to buy great clothes, going step by step into exactly what I would do if I was a complete beginner and I wanted to up my style game. Now, if you're already along the journey and maybe you found a brand or style that you really resonate with, that is great. Don't let me deter you from that. But what I will say is the world of fashion is hugely diverse, and whatever you are wearing and enjoying now, particularly if you're a beginner, I can almost guarantee that there is something out there that you can enjoy wearing more. What I don't want you to do is gamble on some stuff you think you might like, spend loads of money, and ultimately you realize it's really not for you. Today, I want to help you find those items that you're really going to enjoy for a long time to come, help you start thinking about clothing from a more critical place, start that process of you refining your taste, and hopefully save you some money along the way. Now, if all that sounds good, let's begin with step one. I have to be honest here, if I was just getting into fashion right now in 2024, I would be so confused. In today's landscape of hyperconsumption, people outright saying your style sucks, trend hopping, trend following, trend rejecting, is so overwhelming. To reconcile this, I would fade all of that out and delve into some honest reflection on your already existing wardrobe. Open it up and find some pieces that you already love and gravitate towards. Unless you've been dressed by your mum your whole life, you're likely to have at least one or two pieces that you always go to. Now, if you can't think of these items directly, for the next week or so, every time you leave the house, take a photo of your outfit. Question yourself, why have I picked these items? Maybe you love the colors, or maybe you love the material, or just the way it fits on you. Now, if you're someone who is really looking to dramatically change their style, maybe build a whole new wardrobe, you can skip this step and move on to step two, which is increase your intake to everything fashion from a purely visual perspective. Basically, what I mean is to start consciously paying attention to all the fashion things around you. And the best way to do this for me in my living situation was through the internet. Here, many people would turn to Instagram or TikTok for their inspiration, but in my view, Pinterest is the way to go. It really is the best way to objectively view outfits with no outside influences like likes, comments, or follow account. It really is just you and the outfit, and whether you like it or not. Feel free to increase your fashion intake however you choose. Just make sure to use a platform that allows you to create and save posts to categories or groups. And at this stage, it's important to be super general. We're casting as wide a net as possible here. Bookmark or save literally anything you like the look of right at the beginning. Then over the next days, weeks, or months, you can begin to refine. Take the big collection of everything you like and condense those down into smaller specified collections. You can do collections for a specific style or specific item, or one way I like to do it is to break them down into seasons. It's important here to not rush this refinement process and to do it over a few weeks or months. Take your time and really consider where you see your style going in the next 6 to 12 months. Step 3, and we're finally going to draw some conclusions from all that refinement. Here we're going to find your style criteria. Based on all this information and refinement of the outfits that you like, ask yourself, how would you describe your style from these 3 important viewpoints? And those are fit, colors, and formality. I'll demonstrate for you here. On the scale of fit, I would say I generally lean into wider silhouettes, particularly on legwear. My main color palette is black, white, navy, and gray, complemented by earth tones with a statement color of royal blue. Formality-wise, from casual to very formal, I enjoy everything aside from very formal. And don't worry if yours isn't as specific as this, it doesn't need to be just yet. You're just looking to get some basic criteria of your own style from all the knowledge you've gained from those mood boards. And next is to translate that into your foundational items. Step 4 is finding your foundations. After completing the previous style criteria exercise, go back to your mood boards and note down any items that reoccur. Congratulations, you have just found your foundational items. Make a note of these items and make sure to find one item from each of these categories. The categories are inner layers, middle layers, outerwear, legwear, footwear, and accessories, and make sure they all fit strictly within your style criteria. We're nearly at the fun part. Now you've got some specific items written down as your foundations, one final question needs to be answered, and that is, could I legitimately see myself wearing these items and being confident whilst wearing them? And this is a huge question. I can't understate how crucial this is to the whole process. It's no good doing this process, spending all this time to find the foundations for a style that you ultimately won't wear. When I first started saving things to mood boards, I would save the craziest bits because I thought they were really cool, but would I actually wear them? Probably not. If you can't honestly say yes to this question, maybe it's time to go back to your mood boards and find some different foundations until you can confidently say yes to this question. Okay, step 5, here's the fun part. We're actually going to interact with some clothes now. Once you've got a solid idea of your style criteria and you've got your foundational pieces written down, it's time to actually go out and find those pieces. I would dedicate a day or two, maybe this weekend, and just go out on your own, spend some time with yourself, grab a coffee, maybe your favorite food, and spend some time physically interacting with clothes. And why are we doing this? Well, it's all good having all these ideas and all this inspiration, but let me tell you now, transferring those ideas into physical outfits is a completely different ballgame. What looks great on someone online can look drastically different on you, and not always in a good way. And keep an open mind here. Some items you might love, some items you might not. And definitely don't be discouraged if you thought you were really going to love something and it ends up not suiting you. This happens all the time. It's still a positive here. You are still refining your taste and you are still developing your style. Step 6 is to always prioritize your foundations when you're first buying clothes. So some time has passed, you're feeling good, you've kept the mood boards going, you're constantly refining, you've found your style criteria and you know your foundational pieces. Now it's actually time to go and buy some clothes. Now don't go crazy here, it's important to prioritize those foundations that you've already found. These foundational pieces start your wardrobe off on the strongest path possible. So if it were me, I would purchase the best tees I found in white, black, grey and navy, as those are my foundational colours. I'd grab some oversized hoodies, again in black and grey, a cream knit, some blue jeans and some black trousers, a versatile outerwear piece like a black puffer jacket, some loafers and some mesh runners, and finally some minimal accessories. The important bit here is that all these pieces I've listed fall into my style criteria already established in step 3. And very crucially, all of these pieces are versatile and can be interchangeably worn with everything else. There are so many outfits that you can make just from these pieces that I've listed here. Step 7 is to understand whatever you're buying, your foundations or some experimental pieces that push your style forward, is to always buy with purpose and consideration. Now you've got your foundations on lock, your confidence is growing, you feel like you're really getting to grips with your style. You can now start expanding on your style by purchasing different items. And there are 2 ways that I recommend that you do this. You can either purchase more of your foundational pieces with a slight variation, maybe it's a new color or texture or graphic. This method here really fortifies your wardrobe's foundations and adds versatility. Or you can incorporate something completely new that falls slightly outside of your style criteria. And this is a great way of putting yourself outside your comfort zone and expanding your style firsthand. And whatever you do, I have a few questions you can ask yourself before you purchase anything new. Will this purchase fill a gap in my wardrobe? Will this purchase integrate with my foundational items? How often do I see myself wearing this item? Are the materials and craftsmanship worth the price? If I sell this item, can I at least make some of my money back? The important part here is to really get your foundations down. And once you've got those, you can sort of expand in however way you see fit. Just make sure though that every purchase is considered, purposeful, and that you ultimately love that item. There is no room in your wardrobe for anything that you don't love. Finally, step 8, and this is to ensure that you don't waste too much money at the start. This tip is to expect your style to develop over time, and that in itself, great style and a cohesive, curated wardrobe that makes you happy inherently takes a lot of time to build. The only way to build your style from here is constant, honest reflection, reevaluation, and experimentation, and you should fully expect that over time your style preferences are going to change. You might find new hobbies or move cities or even move countries, meet new people or find new inspiration from somewhere that completely changes your entire viewpoint on your clothing. And one of the best tips I can give you is to make sure to practice this stuff. It's all trial and error, it's a process. I've been doing this fashion thing for like 8 or 9 years now, and I only recently, like in the last 2 or 3 years, really feel like my style is actually going in a good direction and where I want it to be. And let me say, as someone who has spent so many years doing it, it is so worth it to wake up every morning to a wardrobe full of clothes that I love and put together interesting outfits that I think look great. It is just amazing. However you get into fashion and whatever you use it for, I really hope you found this guide useful and it helped you understand some good practices for when you're first starting. This video here is another video that I'm super proud of, so go check it out. Have a wonderful week, guys, and I will see you in the video next week. See you then.